A wonderful morning to everyone who has joined today from ManageEngine family. We would like to extend our warm welcome and sincere thanks to all our customers, partners, and users who are interested in our solutions. Endpoint management and security is one of the main focus areas of ManageEngine. Let me introduce myself. My name is James, and I'm a product specialist with ManageEngine. I take care of endpoint management products, including Desktop Central. I'm a seasoned technical support engineer assisting customers in their implementation, consultation, and troubleshooting in case of any challenges. In today's webinar, we will focus on endpoint management solutions, which has different product portfolios under management and security. During today's session, we will be discussing Desktop Central Suite, which has management and security capabilities. Once again, welcome to Desktop Central Training. Let us quickly look at the training schedule. We are on week 3, Asset Management. This is one of the modules of our Endpoint Management and Security Suite. We have covered a couple of modules over the past weeks. In case if you have missed any of our training schedules, you can always view them on the link that is shown at the bottom of the screen. If you're interested in the upcoming training, please use the same link to register yourself. A good news to all the ManageEngine followers, we are giving away certificates post this training series, but you should be completing the entire training series, all right? Let's look at the asset management module today. Let us quickly go through the agenda for today. We will have an overview of Desktop Central. An important question to all of you, since we were all working from home, are you game for back to office battle? Only administrators can understand this question. And we would also look at on how to manage work from home endpoints, how to restrict non-business application, endpoint lockdown, and we will also look at the Desktop Central architecture. I've got few scenarios and solutions and frequently asked questions. In today's session, we will be using Desktop Central Server build version 10.0.624. And this application supports all the browsers. In fact, even during the training, if you have any question, please feel free to chat using the chat window. I have an expert panel with me who are ready to answer all your questions. So what is Desktop Central? Desktop Central is an endpoint management solution that ensures all your endpoints are secure and enables the users to use them effectively for business. With Desktop Central Unified Endpoint Management, you will be able to manage desktops, laptops, mobile phones, tablets, servers, point of sale devices, and browsers. All this from a single console. And currently we support 3 operating systems. As you see on the screen, we support Windows, Mac, and Linux. In Unified Endpoint Management, you can manage endpoints in a traditional IT management fashion. This includes patch management, application management, configuration deployment, OS deployment, tools for troubleshooting, and day-to-day management activities. Similarly, endpoints can also be managed with modern management. All modern operating system supports modern management. It supports features like geo-tracking, geo-fencing, managing store applications, profile distribution to enforce restrictions, operating system reset and recovery. Could you guys guess the popular operating system when I say modern operating system? So I'm talking about the Windows 10. Windows 10 is a classic example in which we can manage both traditional and modern management. Desktop Central can manage both the world's traditional and modern from a single console. So these are the features that you can leverage when you're using Desktop Central as a unified endpoint management solution. We have patch management, which takes care of operating system and third-party application patching. We have application management, asset management, configurations. In fact, if you're following our training schedule, we will talk about this in our next sequence. You can manage other functions, including mobile device management for iOS, Android, Windows, and Chromebooks. Then we have modern management, which is for Windows and Mac machines. You can perform things like geo-tracking, do a complete or a corporate wipe. You can even put them on kiosk mode. You can distribute store apps and manage profile distribution. Then we have OS deployment, where you will be able to create a single master image and deploy it to multiple machines. Now, these are the features that are offered within the Desktop Central suite. Desktop Central is recognized for Best Unified Endpoint Management Tool of 2019 as reviewed by customers in Gartner Peer Insight Customer Choice Award. We are recognized for Unified Endpoint Management in Magic Quadrant for the second consecutive year. We are recognized for both traditional and modern management. So what are the components that you need to run this Desktop Central? There are essential as well as optional components. The Desktop Central Server is the central component that you will install. It provides the interface to the management console. The agent is also an essential component. You need the agent to be installed on the machines that you would like to manage. There is another component called notification server. And guys, this is an interesting component. We will talk more about this once we go into the product. All right. When we look at the optional components, we have distribution server, which serves as a repository for patches, softwares, scripts that you have deployed to machines in the branch office, or I would say remote office. We can create unique replication policies for each location as per the bandwidth requirement. Then we have the secure gateway server. This is again a useful component if you're going to manage machines that are not part of the LAN, or I would say connecting over the internet, a public IP or a public FQDN. We also have the failover server in case if you want to have high availability, you can make use of this. This is a component that is separately licensed. Moreover, you can also use language pack to list the web console in your preferred language. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we support 3 operating systems, as you could see on the screen, which is Windows, Mac, and Linux. So I'm going to list out the entire supported operating system. The application server runs on the Windows platform. Please do remember this. But you can manage the endpoints with Windows or Mac or Linux operating systems. I repeat, in case if you have any questions, please use the chat panel to get your answers. Also, after the session, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to support. Please refer to the email address shown on the bottom of the screen. So it's the agent which is going to play an important role here. It's because it's the agent which is going to do all the job. Once you got the agents deployed, rest of the process is pretty much easy. You will be just creating configurations and then deploying them. And in order to facilitate this agent installation, we recommend 3 methods. Via group policy startup script in your Active Directory, you can simply download the application setup and push it using group policy object. We do have automatic agent installation directly from the web console. You can add multiple domains and choose the machines from those domains and push out the agents to them. We also have scripts that you can use to install the agent. Alternatively, you can also download the agent manually and execute the setup directly on the machine, and it should then automatically report back to the server. So we will be talking about the agent installation in greater detail in our upcoming training. If you're interested, please subscribe to the upcoming trainings. So why do enterprise need asset management? I've listed the 4 important things. First, to keep track of all your software and hardware assets in an organization. To optimize the usage of software licenses. You should be ready for all the compliant and audits that's going to come in the future. A detailed in-depth report to cater all your needs. So what kind of data is collected during the scan? First, as soon as you install an agent does a full inventory scan. Let me take you guys to the console to show you where these options are. So on the console, if you go to admin, let me quickly log in. So if you go to admin, agent settings, in here you have an option, actions to be performed after agent installation. Perform path scanning and perform inventory scanning. So this inventory scan is the full scan. So what are the details that are collected during the scan? Let me take you guys to the inventory section we have. So if I go to the computer section here and I click a machine's name, you will get the complete detail like the operating system summary, service tag or serial number, expiry date will be automatically fetched from the vendor websites, system information like what kind of users are logged in, services that are running, groups, drivers, shares that are created on that machine. And then hardware detail, what kind of hardware being used, whether the hardware is working okay or not. Software that are currently installed and used, and if you find unauthorized application, you can very well uninstall it from here. Certificate details, I just have to enable a scan. To enable the scan, you have the option here, scan settings. You just have to enable it for certificates and drivers. So during the next inventory scan, you will get these details as well. Now, let me go back to the computer again. So you get certificate details, file details, security information, whether BitLocker is enabled or not. If it is enabled, you can fetch the recovery key from here. And you will also be able to see antivirus detail, whether if the endpoint has Windows Defender or third-party antivirus, if it is enabled or not, if it is up to date, and what version it is. Same goes with firewall as well. If you're using Windows firewall or a third-party application firewall. USB audit will also give you information on what kind of USB device is being used by the end user. And not only that, it's going to give you the device instance ID. It's going to give you the connected time, disconnected time, how long they've been using that device on that machine. And if you'd like to generate or if you'd like to block the USB, you do have the option right here to do it. And if you'd like to show them a notification message, like, whenever they plug in a device, it should be giving them a message saying that it's being blocked. You have the option here that says USB auditing. And then you have this alert setting right here. Just enable it and enter your own customized message. All right. So these are the information that we collect during the first inventory scan. Let me take you guys back to the presentation. So as I mentioned, we've got the hardware, software, driver details, certificates, security details, USB usage, user logon details, which I will come back in a minute. And if it's a modern operating system like Windows 10 and Mac, you should be able to geo-track that device as well. So how does the inventory scan works? As I mentioned, as soon as you install the agent, there is a full-time scan. And that scan will give you all the information about that managed machine. What happens during the next consecutive inventory scan? Is it going to do a full-time scan? No. It's going to do a diff scan, a differential scan, so that it does not choke your network bandwidth. So it's not going to be a bigger data during the next consecutive scans. It's going to be a small data, a differential data that will be scanned on the client machine, and then it will be sent to the server. Now, to make this session interesting, I've got a small scenario. Let's say John and his IT team is responsible for managing corporate endpoints at office and work from home machines. So when it comes to managing a corporate endpoints, there are these three users which will come in your mind, which is regular user who can access everything within your LAN. You've got the users with VPN access who's going to work from home, and users without VPN, but every application that you have in your organization is cloud based. And when it comes to managing a work from home endpoints, there are few challenges that an administrator faces. So I've got the three main challenges here when it comes to work from home. First, you need to enable work from home architecture, like work from home network, where you should consider internet bandwidth, VPN gateway, if the application is on the cloud or not, like all that activities. And once you provide the work from home endpoints, or I would say you enable work from home option, next thing is managing it. Like whenever you have a new device, whether the machine is connecting or not, like all that information. And after that, this is the really, really important part when it comes to security. You need to make sure that the endpoints are secured. So you have to make sure the vulnerability or the updates has been done, whether the machines are up to date or not. You have to make sure that the data are not getting leaked. You have to make sure that the browsers are secured, the drives are encrypted. So all this comes into the picture. So first thing, manage and identify work from home endpoints. Before I explain this tabular column, let me explain how the agent reaches the server. By default, agent reaches the server using the host name of the server installed machine, local IP of the server machine, and then the secondary address. Secondary address is nothing but the public FQDN or the IP that you NATed in your firewall, or I would say router. Now, it's always in the sequence, all right? So if one of the address fails, agent would try the next address to reach the server. If any one of these address changes and one of the address is reachable, the other address will be automatically updated on the agent side. Now, this is the important part. Remember when we spoke about the optional components, I mentioned the secure gateway server, right? Secure gateway server is nothing but a component that can be installed on any Windows machine. This is an additional security layer, which is going to give you more security when you're going to manage an endpoint that's connecting over the internet. Now, let's say you're a customer and you already have the secure gateway server installed. We've got three scenarios here. What if it's a LAN agent? Obviously, the host name and local IP would resolve, so no problem. If it's a remote office agent, all you have to do is, let me take you guys go to the console here. You just have to go to the agent setting here. If you have the branch offices created, just edit the branch office and choose direct communication. Remember, you already have the secure gateway server, so you already have the public address granted. All right. So the agent can reach the server using the public address as well. Let me take you guys back to the presentation again. So, and again, if it's a roaming user who's already connecting to the server, no problem. The server the agent can reach the server using the public address. Now you are new to Desktop Central and you are considering in having a secure gateway server. With this COVID-19, so many things have changed. One of the important thing when it comes to IT administration is managing an endpoint that's working from home. So you are new to Desktop Central and you've got the secure gateway server, which you're going to configure newly. Now, the agent knows only the host name and local IP. It does not know the public address to reach the server because you're configuring the secure gateway server now. Now, in order to let the agent know that there is a secondary address, you have to follow a few steps. We already have an article that is released for work from home endpoints, like work from home management, where you can download a script or a bad file that I would say, and then you can enter that information, like what's the secondary address and all that detail, and then you just have to run that bad file on that client machine. Now, if the agent knows the public address, it would obviously reach the server using that address as well. Now, when it comes to configuring secure gateway server, there's again two important things. Identifying work from home endpoints, as I mentioned. You have to identify whether the endpoints are connecting to a distribution server or connecting directly. So again, for this, in the same article, we do have a script that is available, a query that you can make use of. Since we have limited time, I've already used this script and I've created a video. I'm going to play that for you guys right now. So first thing, we have to identify an endpoint that is connecting using distribution server. You have to find out the distribution server name. So I'm going to play this right now. So as I mentioned in the same article, you do have a query that is highlighted here. All you got to do is just copy that query, paste it on a notepad. And then you have to find the current milliseconds. The time in current milliseconds. It's very simple. If you go to Google and then type in current time in milliseconds, you would be able to get the exact milliseconds. So copy that and subtract with the value that is already available under the current time, which I'm going to show you in a quick minute. So you have two values, which is already there in the query. So I'm going to put that current milliseconds, copy that value here, subtract it, get the value. You have to do it for both millisecond times that are mentioned here on this query, which I'm doing using the calculator. Copy that, put it over here, and then get the exact numbers, exact milliseconds, and edit the query with this with the subtracted timer. And then once you got the query defined, just copy the query. And then you have to go to the Desktop Central console, and you guys have already seen, I believe, there is a query report that you can generate on the console. Let me copy the query, and then I go to Desktop Central, and then Reports, and then Query Reports, and then you have to create a new query. So if you run this report, it will show you all the distribution server. I mean, if it's showing you a distribution server, then you can identify that the agent machines are connecting to a distribution server. So this way you are able to identify the endpoints that are connecting to a distribution server. The same can be exported as a report as well as a CSV or a PDF. Now let me show you guys how the directly connected endpoints are identified. For this, there is one script that is available. You have to deploy that script using the custom script option. I will show that in a minute. So I'm gonna copy the query again. And I go to the reports and then query reports again. Paste the query. And then at the bottom of the query, if you see there's a tag that says config name. The config name is nothing but the name of the custom script configuration that you already deployed to the endpoints. You just have to make sure that the custom script is executed successfully. If it is executed successfully, copy that configuration name and edit the query with that name here, and then run the report. If the machines are connecting directly to the server, it's going to show you as true. If it's not, then it's going to give you a false value. So this way you can identify if the endpoints are connecting directly to my Desktop Central server or through a distribution server. Hope I'm clear on this part. As I mentioned in the beginning, if you guys have any question, please do use the chat window to get your answers. Now let me take you guys back to the presentation again. So the important question, guys, are you game for back to office battle? When I say this question, there's few things that will come into the mind. To every administrator, you have to make sure that the endpoints that are going to connect to your local network are secure. Does it have an application that's not a recommended application? I would say unauthorized application. Does the machine is up to date? Does it have the latest updates? Was the USB security being managed? Like whether is there a local administrator rights? So in order to get all this, we have functionalities like network access control. Network access control, it's basically a script, guys. Again, this is going to really help you in order to quarantine a machine if it's not falling under your, I would say, compliance. All right. Now, when it comes to network access control, there's always two things, guys. Why I need the machine to be quarantined, and how am I going to quarantine that machine? Now, why is very simple. To give you guys an example, if you say the machine has an unauthorized application, or I would say the machine has an application that does not have a valid license, or I would say the machine that does not have an antivirus install or a antivirus service that is not running. I want that machine to be quarantined. It should not connect inside the network. So for that, we already have a tool that will allow you to create a JSON file. We call them as a policy generator tool. I'm going to show you guys real time on how to use that tool. If you need that tool, we will be sharing the link with you guys at the end of our sessions, so not to worry. Let me take you guys to the to my local machine. Just a second. So if I go here, the article is right here, configuring network access. So if you'd like to download the policy generator, you do have a zip file right here. When you download this zip file, you get these following files. One, there is an exe that allows you to deploy this policy to all your endpoints. Another exe that allows you to uninstall or remove those policy from an endpoint. And a status tester, whether the machine is quarantined or if it's been revoked, all that status can be fetched. Before that, how to generate a policy. So as I mentioned, we have a policy generator tool. Just double click that. It's going to give you this option. As I said, one quick example. I would like to check, if say, for example, the compliance says, if I have a client machine that has 7-zip installed, it should not connect inside my network. It should be completely quarantined. So that's my policy. Okay, that's an example, guys. Same goes with services as well. All right. So if I go here, I'm going to say 7 space zip, type as software, and the compliance, if the machine should have the application, so I'm going to choose as exist, and then I want the machines to be completely blocked from all network access. Even you do have the options to block based on your local intranet range, so you can do that. So for this current scenario, I'm going to choose block all network access, complete quarantine, right? And you can also have your own message, a customized message that can be shown to the end user when the machine is getting quarantined. And a help document. Help document is something that, say this machine is quarantined, and the pop-up will show on the screen, and if the machine is quarantined, follow this link, like a hyperlink. You can put that link here with all the steps that you wanted to show the end user. As soon as they click the link, it's going to give you all the steps, and if they follow the rules or they follow the steps that you have in that help document, the machine will be automatically revoked if you choose this option, revoke quarantine, when the machine leaves the network. Or there's something called heartbeat system as well. Heartbeat system is nothing but you need to make sure that the machines are connecting to your endpoint, right? Say for example, you have a work from home endpoint that is connecting from home, which has a public address. Now, if the machine comes to your office and uses an Ethernet cable, or if they connect to a Wi-Fi, it's going to get a local IP, right? So to find this changes, you need a heartbeat server. Heartbeat server is nothing but a component again. You just have to configure any of your machine to act like a heartbeat system. So if the machine comes into the network, if it falls under the network, then it would immediately run this policy that you create, and then it will be applied on the client machine. Once you click on generate, once you put all the policies there, all the compliances that you want to do, if you put everything there, click on generate new policy. I'm going to use the existing one since I've already created. So when you click on generate new policy, you will get this quarantine.json file. Right? I'm going to choose the existing one to show one real important thing. So I've chosen that policy. Can I click on generate new policy here? Sorry. I would say I'm going to go with generate new policy. Okay. I'm going to save it. Yes. And if you see here, do you want to generate deployable zips with the policy? So it's going to create a deployable as well, meaning I will show you in a few minutes. So if I say yes, it would say zips have been created. Zips are nothing but these two files, one for 64-bit agent, another one for 32-bit agent. So if I open the zip, you can find the JSON file is already present in that zip. And this JSON file, guys, it's an encrypted file. The end user won't be able to read anything in it. So rest assured that this is secured. All right. Now, what I have to do once I have generated the policy, once I have the zip file, I have to go back to the console and then configurations, Windows, custom script. I believe I've already created it. I'm going to choose it from the templates, user define. All right. So I'm going to choose it right here. I'm going to save some time, guys. So I go here. So I put the policy name. And if I have to, before that, you have to upload those exe to the script repository here, which I've already done. Click on add script here and then browse, choose those files that you wanted to add. As I mentioned, one to deploy, one to uninstall or remove the policy. The other one is to check the status, right? I've already uploaded here. So if I have to deploy this policy, go to configuration, Windows, custom script, computer configuration. It's not a user configuration, guy. It's going to be a computer configuration. And then I'm going to choose that particular exe, which is the deploy, because I want to deploy it. And then those two files should be added as a dependency file. So I'm going to choose those two. And then I can deploy this particular policy to the group of machines that I wanted. If you have to deploy this to entire domain, you can. Or if you say not the entire domain, but a specific OU, you can filter it. OU, AD group, custom group. Within Desktop Central, you do have the option to group your machines. So you can make use of that option as well. Trust this is clear. Guys, if you have any question, requesting you to use the chat window, or you can always contact support to get assistance. I'm going to take you guys back to the presentation again. So the next is application control to restrict non-business application. An important thing every IT administrator has to face, that not to let the end user install an unauthorized application. The machine should have only the approved applications, or I would say IT administrators approved applications, no other applications. If the end user installs it, it should straight away block them. So to do that, we have this new module. Let me exit. Let me take you guys back to the console again. So we've got this application control right here, which will allow you to do that. So application control is basically an option that allows you to create an approved software list or a blacklisted software list. All right, first thing, you have to go here, say application group, create a whitelist. So we will be able to show you everything based on vendor or based on product name or verified executables, or even if you want to have the file hash, we can fetch the hash values for you. If you already have the application with you, you can also, or I would say the hash value with you, you can add it manually. And then, or based on a folder path, you can do it. So I'm going to go with vendor. So I'm going to say my Adobe is okay. Kaspersky is okay. Notepad++, or I'm going to use this as I'm going to say this as approved software list. Okay, these are my approved software list. Now, once I create this rule, I'm going to group this as test group, and then I create it. Now, this is my approved software. Now I have to deploy this policy to all the endpoints that I manage. So what I have to do is I have to go to the policy deployment here, click on associate. As I mentioned, we do have the custom grouping option that allows you to create multiple groups. There's a default group called all computers group, meaning all the computers that has an agent installed. Or you can also, use the custom group to create multiple groups, as I mentioned, which I already have a test group. And I have to choose the policy that I created. Now, there's two things here. One is called the audit mode. The other one is called the strict mode. What's the difference between this? Now, if I choose strict mode, only those approved softwares will be allowed to be used on the end user side. If the end user tries to install, or if they even a portable exe, if they have an exe on their USB drive and if they're trying to launch it, it's going to straight away block them and say it's completely blocked. Now, if I choose audit mode, there's something called gray listed application, guys. What is this gray listed application? Say, for example, I have 10 softwares in my client, in my laptop right now. And my administrator says only 5 of those are approved, and he define the policy and he just assign the policy to my machine. My machine already has 10, but only 5 is approved. If I choose audit mode, those 5 existing software will also be allowed. Those are the gray listed application, which I already have it. If I put this on a strict mode, those 5 existing application will also be blocked. If it's audit mode, it's gonna allow you to use the approved softwares, also the application that are already installed, the gray listed application. So that's the difference. So you can either put it on a strict mode or audit mode. So this is how you manage the applications. Like if you would like to put a policy, use this app control, create a group of approved software list, deploy this to the end user's machine. Trust this is clear again. So we are moving into the Desktop Central architecture. Desktop Central, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's a client server model application, guys. And Desktop Central can be on premise. You can have it installed on any Windows operating system. This architecture talks about both the local area connection as well as the wide area connection. And if you see here, I have an endpoint within my organization itself. Say, for example, this is my firewall. I have the server installed and I'm syncing my Active Directory and I'm managing endpoints. This machine can reach the server using the host name and local IP. Now, if I have a machine that's outside the network, for this machine to reach the server, as I mentioned, I need a public address, right? I can do a NAT here itself without secure gateway server. We do have two-factor authentication and SAML authentication. However, NATing here is strictly not recommended. Having secure gateway server, secure gateway server, as I said, this component can be installed on any Windows machine. And this Windows machine can be placed under the DMZ zone. So instead of doing NAT here, you will be doing NAT here. So secure gateway server validates if the communications are coming from the agent, and then it reroutes to the Desktop Central server. So your network is secure. Desktop Central is also available for closed network. If you'd like to, if you say I have a closed network, does Desktop Central support it? Yes, it does. And Desktop Central is also available in Azure and AWS Marketplace. And we also started supporting Desktop Central as a cloud solution. Now, Desktop Central is available in our own Zoho cloud. So the 90 minutes refresh policy. So what is this? Since this is a client server model, once you have the agent installed, every agent has to contact the server. And this contact time is the 90 minutes refresh policy. Desktop Central can scale small as well as large customers using this 90 minutes refresh policy, all right? Even if you have 90 machines or 900 or even 9,000 machines, this 90 minutes will be divided between them and each machine will be given a specific time to talk with the server. The server has the intelligence to assign a time for each client to talk to the server. And this is to avoid network congestion or bandwidth related issues. So the 90 minutes refresh policy is designed in such a way that the load to the server will be split evenly. Now, these are the ports that are used by Desktop Central. Desktop Central runs primarily on two ports, 8383, which is HTTPS, or 8020, which is HTTP. All the agents talk to the server using this port. There is another port, 8027, which is TCP. This is used for notification server. And I should explain this notification server, guys. Why do I need this notification server? Since this is a client server model, The communications are always inbound to the server, meaning it's the agent which is going to talk to the server, not the other way. Now, what if I have to do a remote control, or what if I have to do an inventory scan right away? What happens at that time? Desktop Central uses this notification server component to reset the agent timer so that the agent can contact immediately to the server to see that there is a configuration available, either a scan or a remote control or an immediate deployment, be it a patch or a software. That will be processed by the client, and it will be processed by the endpoints. Apart from these two ports, there are other optional ports that you need to open. The important ports are all listed here on the screen for you guys. You can keep the respective ports open as per the requirement. There are a few other ports. You can view them on the link that I mentioned at the bottom of the screen, www.desktopcentral.com/ports. You should be able to see all the ports that are needed for Desktop Central to work seamlessly. We have come to the scenarios and solutions. Now, the first scenario, we also use Service Desk Plus for asset management. How do the two products interact if we are collecting inventory in Desktop Central? Do we still need to scan the computers in SDP? Not necessarily, guys. So once you integrate the Desktop Central is can be integrated with Service Desk Plus using the API keys. You can find that setting right here, admin, and Service Desk Plus setting. So we have step-by-step instructions on how to do it. Once the tool is integrated using APIs, Service Desk Plus is going to use the Desktop Central agent. So whenever the agent does an inventory scan, it will also be posted to the Service Desk Plus automatically. Next scenario, how can we identify the security status of the machines in my network? I hope you guys can remember this part. I showed you guys there is an option under the inventory, computers, and select the computer name, and you can go to the security detail here to find all the detail, whether the BitLocker status or antivirus status. But there's one more important report which we have right here. This is a computer by computer view, but if you'd like to fetch a report for all the computers, like I want to see like what drives being enabled or not, like what's the status, whether it is enabled or disabled, I can simply choose it right here, and this is going to show me the details in about the device, whether it's encrypted or not, all that detail. And the same can be exported as a report too. You do have the option to export PDF, CSV, or XLS. The next scenario, does the prohibit software feature blocks web browser plugin as well? No, guys, unfortunately, no. Browser plugins can only be managed using the Browser Security Plus application, which is one of the ManageEngine tool. Shared directories with write access is a security threat. Can we identify them? Yes, you certainly can. So you have the option again. You do have a report, a CAN report. Let me show you. I go to inventory, and you have this option called share details. You can find all the details here. Since I do not have a share created in my machine, it says no data available. And next scenario, I want to identify the computers with local administrator accounts. Is this possible? Yes, you do have a report again that can generate to show you who's the local administrator. So if you go to admin again, sorry, inventory reports, system group users. And then in here, you can simply say local accounts equal. And then in here, you can just type in as administrators and generate a report. This is going to give you the machine name, the group, which is administrators, and the group members. So you should be able to fetch that as a report too. Next scenario. Dropbox is installed at the user level, and I would like to get the list of computers that have it installed. How do I identify them? So again, I'm gonna take you guys to the reporting section. Same inventory report. And then you have this option called user specific software. If you click this, this is going to show you all the software that are user specific. You can search for it to get that detailed report. And wherever you see this icon, meaning you can export that report as well. Now, the next scenario, I want to attach an invoice or other attachments to the computers to maintain records. Is this possible with asset management? Yes. So some of you guys might not have seen this option. You know, I hope if you're using Desktop Central, you might have seen this option already, like to create a custom column, which is available right here. But within this custom column, you do have this option called file upload. You can select file upload here. I'm going to choose this as invoice. So I just wanted to, upload invoice here. So I'm going to say invoice as a column name. And then I add it here. Once I add it, you can see the column that says here as invoice. You can click browse and add that invoice file that you want to upload it to the inventory management. Next scenario. Sorry, that's all the scenarios I have for you guys. So the last part, frequently asked questions. Can we add the date that computers have been purchased? This is to register warranty dates, etc. And I hope you guys remember this option again. I mentioned the warranty details will be automatically fetched. So if you go to the inventory section here and computers, if you click the option right here, like if you click the machine's name, sorry about that. So I'm going to click the machine's name here. If you see here, it says scan now and the service tag is automatically fetched. But if you'd like to add it manually, you do have this option right here. If you click this pencil icon right here, you can enter those information. But there's an alert that's shown here. I mean, if you edit this option, that automatic scan or automatically fetching details will be disabled. All right. Let me take you guys to the questions again. Question number 2. When you add a program to the prohibited software list, does it take all the versions of the software into account? Do I need to update the prohibited software list every time a new version is released? Not necessarily, guys. So you do have the option here. If I go to the inventory again, manage license, you have the option which says group software. For example, if I have multiple versions of 7-zip, I can simply say 7-zip here, just a name. I would say 7-zip group. And I can search for 7 here. And I can add that here. So, and you do have this option that says add the following version 7-zip 19.00 automatically. And in here, you have the option to set this as a parent, meaning any version that is getting added after this version will be automatically added to this group. And when you create the prohibited software list, instead of selecting a specific version, you can see the group that I created as well. You can just add that group. So whenever there's a new version on a client machine, that will be automatically added to this group and it will be automatically prohibited as well. Next question. In the inventory report of computers without specific software, how to specify filter criteria and schedule them? Simple again, same reporting option. I just have to go to the inventory report, computers without a specific software. And I'm going to choose domain equals. I'm going to choose the same 7-zip. And then I'm going to generate this report. This is for one time. I can generate this report for one time, but if I have to schedule it, you have this option called schedule report. You can click on add schedule report, put a scheduler name, and in here you have the inventory option, inventory report. So I'm going to select inventory report. And then I'm going to go with computer with or without specific software, and then I can add a criteria here itself, the same filtering option, the criteria. And then I can put this on a scheduler. At the bottom of the screen, you have the option called configure scheduler. You can put this on a scheduler whenever you need, whether it's supposed to hit your email every day, you can do that, or you can go based on weekly or monthly, or even if you need the report within like next 2 minutes, just say once, enter the timer, like 1 or 2 minutes from now, you should be able to get this report automatically to your email address. Next question. In case of any issues with a driver in a machine, how can I identify the same? As I mentioned, guys, you do have the option to get the driver details. The scan needs to be enabled. It's available under the inventory section. Let me see if I can fetch another machine just real quick. So if I go to scan settings, I have to enable the drivers. I did not enable it, my apologies. So if I go here, I got another console here. So if I go to inventory section and I go to the computers tab and I click a computer name. And if I go to system, drivers, this is going to show you all the drivers that are used, whether it is working okay or not. If it is not working, we will also be able to show you that it's not working and a KB article to fix the errors. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you like my presentation, and I hope I've shared all my knowledge to you guys. If you'd like to rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the best, please do rate it, which will improve our presentation skills, and we will also be able to evaluate ourselves. And if you'd like to spread a word, you can use the social medias. You can use Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You have the links right there. And the next training schedule is for remote control. It's going to happen on November 4th. You can see the timings here, 6:30 GMT and 11:30 EDT. And if you'd like to get a personalized demo on Desktop Central, please use the tiny URL at the bottom of the screen. Our evaluation team will be getting in touch with you to schedule a demo session. Once again, thank you so much for your valuable time in attending this training session. Hope this training session is useful. If you guys have any questions, as I mentioned, our support desk is open always for you guys. And you do have a chat icon on the console to get a live technician answering your query. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day.